Now, let's proceed to step 2 of the questions. Question number 1. How many morphemes are there in the word transportation? To answer this question, we must understand what morpheme is. Do you still remember? A morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of a language because it is the smallest. It cannot be further divided. Morphemes can be root words or affixes. Let's try to count the morphemes of transportation. See there, the word transportation divided into its constituent morphemes. Trans is a morpheme. It is an affix known as prefix. Port is also a morpheme. It is a base word. That's the root word of the word transportation. Then comes a. Its function is linker because it links transport to the suffix -tion. So you see, transportation has 4 morphemes. Answer option D. Take note that when you count morphemes, you are not going to count syllables because morphemes are different from syllables. Question number 2. Give the pattern of the given sentence. The sentence is, I own a beautifully restored antique boat and jet ski too. Examining the sentence, you see there a direct object. What is the direct object there? It is actually compound direct object comprising boat and ski. I there is the subject. And own is transitive because it has a direct object. I own what? Boat and jet ski. So you see, the pattern in the sentence is subject, transitive verb, direct object. S, T, V, D, O. So that's option C. Question number 3. Which expression or can replace the underlined part? I will deal with a problem if and when it becomes necessary, not before. Deal with a problem if and when it becomes necessary is underlined. Look at the options. What do you notice? The options are all idiomatic expressions. By the way, what is an idiomatic expression? An idiomatic expression is an expression that is peculiar to a language. Why peculiar? Because its meaning cannot be understood in the literal level. You have to read the expression behind the lines in order to understand it. Now, what do you think is the idiomatic expression which means deal with a problem if and when it becomes necessary? Cry over spilt milk. We mean there's no use in worrying over past events which cannot be changed. When we say cut the mustard, we mean to reach or surpass the desired standard or performance, or more generally, to succeed, to have the ability to do something. And what about beat around the bush? It means to avoid answering a question, not to stall or not to waste time. Answer the question immediately if we are asked to answer a question. See cross the bridge when it comes. It means deal with a problem if and when it becomes necessary, not before. So you see, the meaning of the idiom cross the bridge when it comes is the meaning that is given in the item. So therefore, our answer should be option C. Ready for question number 4. In his despair, Judas blamed himself. Complete this thought. Now, this is an item wherein you are going to examine the grammatical structure of the sentence. It lacks a verb. If you look at the options, you see there the verb hang. Hang can be regular or irregular. If you mean to suspend something, then it is irregular. If you mean to kill someone by hanging, then the verb hang is regular. If it is regular, we inflect it to the past tense with ed. So we say hanged. Then to the past participle, still with ed, hanged. If it is irregular, then we inflect it to hung and hung. But there you see Judas. You remember Judas? He killed himself by hanging himself on a tree. So therefore, the verb hang there is regular. Our answer should be delta. So you see that sentence needs only the regular form of the verb hang. Question number 5. What idiom means to take on a task that is way too big? Examine the meanings of the idiomatic expressions given in the options. Let's start with blessing in disguise. What do we mean by blessing in disguise? You look at that. I placed there the meaning. It means an apparent misfortune that eventually has good results. Caught between two stools. Come between two alternatives, and so fail to fulfill either of them. Fail due to difficulty in choosing between the two alternatives. Cost an arm and a leg. This is something related to a thing or something that is very costly or expensive, that sometimes we cannot afford it. And then look at a bite of more than you can chew. It means to take on a task that is a way too big. Our answer should be option D, bite of more than you can chew. Number 6. Which word has almost similar meaning with consign? This is a test in vocabulary. If you are very good in recalling words, then you can answer this question easily. But if we refer to the dictionary, we are given the word relegate as the synonym of the word consign. So the answer is relegate. Consider the following words there given as synonyms of consign. Entrust, hand over, dispatch, relegate, and deliver. There are still other words, but we limit the words given there in order to give you a view that relegate is one of the synonyms of consign. Question number 7. How is the following paragraph developed? It is developed through what? Examine the paragraph. It is started with the definition of or a definition of the word love. And then it is ended with the reiteration of the definition of the word love. So clearly, the answer here is option A, definition. Question number 8. For crying out loud, how can you simplify the sentence? For crying out loud is actually an idiomatic expression which means I am frustrated. When you are frustrated, you exclaim. You are annoyed, of course. I am frustrated, or rather, for crying out loud is actually considered a euphemism for the expression for Christ's sake. Don't forget, for crying out loud means I am frustrated. Question number 9. Give the proper order of the sentences so they make a good paragraph. Here we are asked to arrange the sentences. This is a test in logical organization. If you encounter an item in logical examination, you should be wise. Do not waste your time reading the sentences. Go to the question or see what is asked of you to do. If you're asked to give the arrangement of the sentences, then always consider the topic sentence. What is a topic sentence? It is the most general statement in a paragraph because it contains the main idea. If we look at the sentences there, we see option B, symptoms are for our benefit, as the most general among the sentences. So therefore, we are going to choose option delta because it's the only option having letter B as the first letter. Question number 10. Which sentence has heteronyms? Do you remember the heteronyms? What are they? Heteronyms are actually words that are spelled the same but do not have the same pronunciation. In option A, we are given C and C. They are actually homophones, but they are not spelled the same. Look at option B. You see there the word is. It is just repeated. In Charlie, you see sight with C and sight with S. Look at their spellings, not the same. So we cannot consider them heteronyms. Look at delta. The words present and present. The first one is a verb. The second one is a noun. Let's read the sentence. Don't just give the gift. Present the present. So you see, they are spelled the same, but they are not pronounced the same. They are the heteronym. So our answer to the question is option D. Don't just give the gift. Present the present. Question number 11. The word sketch, which means to propel oneself while on a skateboard, came from the word sketch is a blend word. It is a blend of skate and hitch. It is basically hitching a ride while doing some form of skating. So therefore, our answer here is option D. Let's go to number 12. Which noun is in the vocative case? You remember the cases of nouns? One of the cases is the vocative from the word voice or from vocal. If we examine the options, option B, having the noun of direct address. A noun in the vocative case is a noun in direct address. So therefore, our answer there should be option B. Mr. Bill, students are waiting for you in the main hall. Now, to refresh you of what vocative case is, consider that. Vocative case is an expression of direct address by which the identity of the party spoken to or the person spoken to is set forth expressly within a sentence. Or number 13, the meanings associated with the word ear in the following sentences seem related. How are words with the same spelling and related meanings called? Let's consider the sentences given. They have the word ear. If you think deeply, the word ear there has different meanings in the sentences. What do we call the word ear there? Can we say it is a capitonym? Can we say it's an oronym? Can we say it's a paronym? Or can we say it's a polysem? I want you to consider polyphony, capitonyms, oronyms, and paronyms. Polyphony is the capacity for a word or phrase to have a multiple meanings, usually related to or by contiguity of meaning within a semantic field. So if you look at the meaning of polyphony, we actually can apply it to the word ear in the given sentences. So naturally, we are going to choose letter D, polysems. Capitonyms are dual meaning words. Look at the examples given. Cuban with small letter C and Cuban with big letter C. Cuban with small letter C, that refers to the shape of a cube, while Cuban with big letter C, that refers to a citizen of Cuba. The oronyms are words or phrases which sound the same. Examples: ice cream and ice cream, allowed and allowed seem to have the same sounds, but they are actually different words. Paronyms are words that are pronounced or written in a similar way but would have different lexical meanings. You could accept and accept pronounce the same, but they do not have similar meanings. Don't forget, the answer to the question is option D. Polysemes. Number 14. What is the correct meaning of this idiom? We don't want our team to come under fire. The idiom there is actually only to come under fire. What does it mean? If you remember, to come under fire means to be criticized or to be criticized severely. So our answer should be letter A. We don't want our team to get public criticism. Question number 15. Complete the analogical sentence that follows. Tenacious is to irresolute as amity is to bland. That is an analogy item. So it really helps if you are going to examine the relationship of the given words. Given words are tenacious and irresolute. How is tenacious related to irresolute? Let's consider the meanings of the words. Tenacious can mean strong or firm. Irresolute, the opposite of resolute, can mean indecisive or weak. So if we examine their meanings, we see antonyms. So tenacious and irresolute are antonyms. So of course, we are going to give an antonym to amity. And what is amity? It means a friendly relationship. Which of the four words in the given option means the opposite of amity? It is hostility. Hostility means unfriendliness or opposition. So they come together as antonyms. Correct answer? Option D. Hostility. Now let's go to number 16. The word Humpty Dumpty is formed through what? To have a better understanding of the question, let's first know what are affixation, suppletion, reduplication, and compounding. Compounding is the morphological operation that, in general, puts together two or more free forms or words and gives rise to a new word. Example, rain and bow. We can form a new word out of rain and bow. Rainbow. Affixation. This is a morphological process whereby a bound morphem, a morphem that cannot stand alone, it needs to be attached to a root word or to another word in order to have significant meaning. So we can say an affix, which can be a prefix, an infix, or a suffix that is attached to a word. Now, for example, the word hopeful, there is a suffix there, full. So hope with full becomes hopeful, we form a new word. And hopeful is formed through affixation. In morphology, suppletion is the use of two or more phonetically distinct roots for different forms of the same word, such as the adjective bad and its suppletive comparative form worse. So bad and worse are actually good examples of suppletion. So from bad, it becomes worse. So worse is formed through suppletion. Reduplication. It is a word formation process in which all or part of a word is repeated to convey some form of meaning. In the item, part of Humpty, the Umpty is repeated in Dumpty. So therefore, our answer should be option B, reduplication. Number 70. There were 3 guests on the stage. They were made up of a parent, the governor, and the principal, who should be acknowledged first by the valedictorian. Looking into the protocol for ceremonies, it should be the highest ranking official to be mentioned first, or it should be the highest ranking official to be acknowledged first. So our answer here is letter C, the governor. Number 18. Language in context is what? Let's examine the words in the options. What do we mean by syntax? Now, by the way, syntax, morphology, semantics, and pragmatics are the components of linguistics, the study of languages. Syntax refers to the order of words. Semantics, the meanings of words or the meaning of the language. Morphology, this concerns on the formation of words. What about pragmatics? That is the application or the use of the language. So if we consider semantics as the meaning of the language, then our answer here should be B, semantics. Number 19. This is basically using the visual system to form, store, and recall words, such as writing a word out in the air in front of you. Early readers are taught the relationship between sounds in speech and the letters that represent those sounds. This is also known as phonological thinking. Are you familiar with panoramic processing, with orthographic processing, with semantic processing, graphophonic division? Panoramic comes from panorama, that's the view or the surroundings. It does not refer to the letter or grapheme and sound or phoneme relationship. So let's eliminate alpha. Semantic processing. Semantic, we know, it refers to the meaning. So there, we're going to consider the meaning. So we are not asked of the meaning there. So we are not going to consider semantic processing. Graphophonic deficit, this is actually difficulty in spelling or writing words. So that cannot be considered. That leaves us orthographic processing. So our answer to number 19 is Bravo, orthographic processing. Don't forget, phonological thinking is grapheme-phoneme relationship or letter-sound relationship. Another term for phonological thinking is orthographic processing. Orthographic processing is also called the grapheme-phoneme relationship or letter-sound relationship. Hence our answer, Bravo, is correct. Question number 20. Make the sentence grammatically correct. The sentence is, I am accustomed to blank my relatives every summer. What do you think is the answer? Can visit complete the sentence correctly? Can visiting complete the sentence correctly? Or can visited complete the sentence correctly? Let's recall accustomed to. Accustomed to can also be get accustomed to. Get accustomed to is actually followed by the ing form of the verb. This ing form of the verb is also called present participle form. So if you are going to look at get accustomed to, in a deeper sense, it cannot be followed by a base form. So we are going to eliminate alpha and Bravo. Visit is base form. Also, we are going to eliminate delta because it is not present participle form. The present participle form is visiting. That's the ing form. So therefore, our answer to question 20 is option C, visiting. Number 21. We are in a difficult situation. We have to cut corners. What does the italicized expression mean? Do you notice that the italicized expression is an idiomatic expression? Now take note that idiomatic expressions are actually inventions, so meaning we cannot give our own meaning or our own interpretation of the idioms. We have to follow the meaning given by the author of the idiom. Let's consider cut corners. What do we mean by this? Do we mean buy only the essentials? Do we mean something is done badly to save money? Do we mean decision is made? Or face the problem? Cut corners means when something is done badly to save money. You have to consider this as the only alternative. So our answer is option B. Something is done badly to save money. 22. To nurture students' creativity, which activity should a teacher avoid? If you are the teacher, which are you going to avoid? Giving the 4 options. The 3 options there are actually related. Options A, B, and D. A, B, and D actually belong to the higher order thinking. So by that rationalization, we say that the answer to question 22 is option C, emphasize to need, the need rather, to give the right answer. If the teacher wants to develop the creativity of his or her students, he or she should avoid emphasizing the need to give the right answer because the students will just memorize, so they are deprived of thinking in the higher order. Number 23. Which of the following illustrative verbs in stating objectives do not need or do not rather belong to the group? Let's consider this. When we write an objective, we should use a verb that describes an observable behavior, such as describe, summarize, demonstrative, compare, plan, score. There are still many. What do we mean by observable behavior? So meaning the objective can be attained in just one setting. Among the given verbs in the options, realize that does not describe an observable behavior. So it is the different one or the odd man out. So therefore, answer to the question is option B, realize. Number 24. Respect and reverence is in these lines. Choose one. It is option D. Love your country. It's home of your people. Take note of this. Love is strongly enforced by respect and reverence. So if there is love, there is always respect and reverence. When there is respect and reverence, that results in love. When there is genuine love, there is always respect and reverence because respect and reverence coexist with love. 25. These towels are black for us to dry the dishes. Among the four options, we see a very obvious destructor. And of course, that is alpha because very dry does not give sense to the sentence. We are going to consider the three options B, C, and D. B uses very, C is so, and D too. So, very and to actually belong to one category or to one group. They are called intensifiers. They are adverbs of intensity. Let's consider this one. When we use so, it should be followed by a clause, and oftentimes it is a that clause. When we use very, we just emphasize the verb. When we use to, we see to it that there is an infinitive following it. If we look at the sentence, we see an infinitive. What is the infinitive? The infinitive is to dry. So to dry is our reason why we are going to choose option D, to wet. Number 26 now. Which sentence shows the correct indirect address from the given direct address below? The teacher said, the earth rotates on its own axis. Let's examine the given sentence. The reporting verb is past. The quoted speech is actually a universal truth or a general truth. So we have already in our mind not to change the tense of rotates. So let's examine the options. We eliminate alpha because it changes rotates to rotated. Okay, remove. Let's look at option Bravo or B. The teacher said that the earth rotates in its own axis. Okay, there is no change in the verb. Let's consider it. Let's look at Charlie. The teacher said that the earth will rotate. The verb is changed to will rotate. Remove. Let's look at Delta. Has rotated. That is not right. So therefore, option B is the answer. Take note of that. If the direct speech contains a universal truth, the tense of the direct speech remains unchanged in the indirect form, even if the reporting verb is in the past. Ready for number 27? Okay, number 27. Report the direct address below. meaning we're going to change the direct address into the indirect form or into the reported speech form. Julius said, I am buying some fish at the market today. So take note of the changes. Look at the verb. It is past. So we are going to change the tense of I'm buying rather. Look at I, the pronoun I. Of course, that refers to Julius. In the indirect address, it will become third person. So we are going to change it also. Then there is time there today. We are going to change it also in the indirect address. So what should be our answer now? Okay, our answer is option C. Julius said that he was buying some fish at the market that day. So am buying becomes was buying because the subject is no longer I, the subject is already you. The time today is changed to that day. I is changed to he. Let's go to number 28. It happened 2 summers ago up at Lake Tom where I was vacationing with friends. I had been accustomed to running fairly regularly, but that whole week I decided to be lazy. I sailed, basked in the sun, and ate wonderful lobsters, steak, corn on the cob, baked potatoes, and ice cream. Looking at the options, we can understand that we are asked to correct a part of the paragraph which has an error. What is the focus? The focus is wonderful. So let's examine the word wonderful. Is it used there correctly? If it is not, then we are going to change it. If it is used correctly, then we are going to choose alpha. No change. Okay, look at that. Wonderful. It describes a verb. Of course, it cannot be used to describe a verb because it's an adjective. Change it to the adverb form. So our answer should be letter B, ate wonderfully. Number 29. In this area of the country, a lot of snow usually means we will have a cool summer. We have had a lot of snow this winter, even though it was not very cold. I think we will have a cool summer. Now take note, whether the argument is deductive or inductive, the argument must always have a conclusion. So we are going to eliminate a deductive argument with an unstated conclusion. Yes, we are going to remove that because every argument has a conclusion. Let's examine Charlie. Neither inductive nor deductive. An inductive argument can never be deductive. A deductive argument can never be inductive. So we are not going to consider Charlie. An inductive argument cannot have a false conclusion. An observation. We have had a lot of snow this winter, even though it was not very cold. So the argument starts with an observation. Then there's a conclusion. The last sentence, I think we will have a cool summer, stated as an opinion. So that shows a possibility. So that conclusion points to the conclusion of an inductive argument. So therefore, our answer should be option B, an inductive argument with the last sentence as a conclusion. Number 30. In the end, everyone gives up jogging. Some find that their strenuous efforts to earn a living drains away the energy for running. Let's look at this. Some find that their strenuous efforts to earn a living drains away the energy for running. You see the arrow connecting efforts and drains? Efforts there is the subject of drains. They do not agree, drains and efforts. Efforts is plural, drains the singular. So change drains to drain. Number 31. Arrange the words given below in a meaningful sequence. The words are presentation, recommendation, arrival, discussion, introduction. How are we going to attack this type of item? Of course, we examine the item very carefully. We see there words to be arranged. And the words actually connote events. So that is sequencing. The word arrival associated with the first event. Probable answer is either Charlie or Bravo. So we are going to eliminate Alpha and Delta. Now take note that among the four words there, recommendation is associated with or to the last event. So we are going to choose Charlie. 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, arrival, then introduction, followed by presentation, then by discussion, and the last event is recommendation. So take note, you have to get the sense of the sequence. Number 32. Preschool children always watch the body language of their teachers. This means what? Now let's refer this Dr. Segal, Smith, Robinson, and Booth. According to them, our body communicates as well as our mouth. Positive body language in a classroom setting has the ability to motivate, inspire, and engage. It can only give us the confidence we need to teach, but I'm going to emphasize this part. It cannot only give us the confidence we need to teach, but can also reassure our students that we actually know what we are talking about. So this one forwards the idea that communication is best by movements and gestures. So correct answer is option A. Communication is best by movement and gestures. Question number 33. You are barking up the wrong tree, so please shut up. The underlying idiomatic expression means, so the idiomatic expression there is barking up the wrong tree. And what's the meaning given? This is the meaning given. Looking in the wrong place, accusing the wrong person. So our answer should be option C. Looking in the wrong place, accusing the wrong person. 34. Certify is to attest, as hypnotize is to blank. This is an analogical sentence. So let's examine the relationship existing between the given words. What are the given words? Certify and attest. We know that they are synonyms. So the word to give is enthrall. Let's go to number 35. Teeming with anger. The team called vituperated the earring players. This is an item in vocabulary. But in this particular item, we see context clues. What are these? Teeming with anger and earring players. Looking at the options, we can pick punished and scolded. Strong words are punished and scolded. Okay, we will decide to choose scolded. Why? Because by context, vituperate means blame or insult someone, probably, in strong or violent language. To revile or scold someone. Number 36 now. If I blank the same problems you had as a child, I might not have succeeded in life as well as you lived. Let's examine. If I blank the same problems you had as a child is contrary to fact. What is the fact? The fact is I didn't have the same problem you had as a child. Now, this is the reason that we are going to use subjunctive mood verb. So among the options, what verb can be used in the subjunctive mood? It is only had. So our answer should be option C, had. Which of the four men is the thief? The answer is option C. Norbert ran away with some valuable books. Run away means to escape. Question 38. Which gives the correct sentence for the given direct discourse? The girl said, "It gives me great pleasure to be here this evening." So examine. The reporting verb is past. And then the quoted speech is not a universal truth or a general truth. So we are going to change the tense of the verb. Look at the options. In alpha, the tense of the verb is changed. Gives is made gave. So let's consider alpha. In Bravo, said is changed to says. Now this is not right. We are going to retain the tense of the reporting verb in the indirect address. So eliminate immediately, bravo. Or B, letter C. The girl said that gave me great pleasure. Now me should be changed to her. And if you look at letter C, something or a word is lacking. So do not consider letter C. The girl said that it gives, okay. The verb gives should be changed to gave. Remove delta. Answer. The girl said that it gave her great pleasure to be there that evening. Do not forget the change in time, change in pronoun, and the change in tense. Question number 38. What gives the correct sentence to the given direct discourse? The girl said, it gives me great pleasure to be here this evening. You examine the given direct discourse. The reporting verb said is past, so it is expected that there is a change in the verb gives in the indirect address. Examine the options. In alpha, gives is gave. Okay, hold alpha or hold option A. In letter B, the verb said is changed to says. This is not right. We should retain the tense of the reporting verb. So immediately remove option B. Look at option C. It seems that there is a word lacking there. And then me is not changed to her. Do not consider C. Remove it. D, or the verb is not changed. It is still gives. Remove. Our answer here is option A. The girl said that it gave her great pleasure to be there that evening. Take note, the change in time, the change in pronoun, the change in tense are actually very important when we change direct addresses into indirect addresses. Number 39. Read the statement or passage and then choose the best answer to the question. Answer the question based on what is stated or implied in the statement or passage. Let's read the passage. The Midwest is experiencing its worst drought in 15 years. Corn and soybean prices are expected to be very high this year. What does the second sentence do? Examine. The Midwest is experiencing its worst drought in 15 years. That is the situation that gives a cause. Corn and soybean prices are expected to be very high this year. That is the consequence or the effect of the situation. Therefore, our answer to this question should be option B. It states an effect. Is this your answer? Then congratulations, you got it right. Number 40. What statement has the correct form of question? Among the four, they end with a question mark, right? And you see, the options have statements and questions. We are talking about the tag question. So the item concerns the tag question. What is a tag question? It is actually a question or a sentence used to confirm or check information or ask for agreement, of course, for confirmation. Now, if we are going to recall, there are rules for tag questions. To answer this item, we are going to recall the rules. Very important here is to see that the tag question is negative because the statement is positive. So, what is it? It is option B. The students wanted to play, didn't they? Number 41. If you can walk with kings and lose the common touch, you are a man, my son. It's the value of what? Great humility, purity and charity, gentle manhood and desire, or self-respect and courage. Let's look at this. If you can walk with kings and not lose the common touch, you are a man, my son. This particular line comes from Rudyard Kipling's poem, If. This line helps to bring out the notion of developing character within the individual. So you see, this is associated with humility, not being boastful. So our answer should be letter A, great humility. Number 42. Which of the following sentences expresses his thought correctly? Examine. A has double negatives, neither nor and not. Bravo has neither and or. Neither and or do not belong together. Charlie has neither and an. Neither and on do not belong together. Our answer is delta. Neither the negotiators nor the soldiers were present. Next question. Which word has the voiceless interdental fricative? This question is difficult to answer if we do not understand fricative. A fricative is a sound denoting a type of consonant made by the friction of breath in a narrow opening, producing a turbulent airflow. This is the reason why we hear a hissing or a buzzing sound from a fricative. All the options have fricatives. All their initial sounds are fricatives. Alpha has z. Bravo has sh. Charlie has z. Delta has sh. Now, what do you think is the voiceless interdental fricative? Voiceless meaning you cannot feel vibrations in the vocal cord if you are going to place your two fingers against your throat. You can try this one later. Voice requires vibrations in the vocal cords. So you feel the vibrations if you are going to place your two fingers against your throat. Interdental, when you produce the sound, the teeth become very active. Let's look at this. The answer is option D. Thistle. The TH in thistle, the two letters combined, actually produce one sound. We call that digraph. The digraph is voiceless interdental fricative. That is the phoneme of the voiceless interdental fricative theta. It is the soft TH. Got that? That is not voiced. Answer here is letter D, vessel. What sound is common to the words below? Open, mold, bone, toe, sew, dough, bow, brooch, sew. See the phonemes? A is as in look, look. B is as in but. C is O as in bow, and D is as in again. Hearing those sounds, it is letter C. Letter C is the O sound. Let's say the words open, mold, bone, toe, sew, dough, bow, brooch, sew. All are sounded with the O sound. Now I want you to take note that all those sounds are voiced. 45. How many sounds can be heard in the English language? Phonology tells us that there are more or less 80 sounds in all languages of the world. Out of these 80 sounds, 43 to 44, or 44 rather, belong to the English language. So our answer is option D, 43 to 44. It is generally agreed that there are approximately 44 sounds in English, with some variation dependent on accent and articulation. The 44 English phonemes are represented by the 26 letters of the English alphabet, individually or in combination. 46. How many phonemes are there in the word something and anything? Something. You see the transcription of something? You count the phonemes. There are 6, correct? Anything also. See the description. Count the phonemes. There are also 6. So our answer is letter B, 6 and 6. 47. Among the following, blank has plosive bilabial. What do we mean by plosive? A plosive sound is a stop sound, meaning the sound cannot be prolonged. When you are going to produce it again, you have to stop before you can produce it again. All the options there start with a plosive. In pardon, in time, in kin, in Quran. What's the limit? We are limited to the bilabial plosive. Bilabial. The lips become very active when we produce the sound. Okay, let's try. In which sound are the lips very active? It is in pardon. Therefore, the answer here is option A, pardon. Pardon belongs to plosive bilabial if you're going to consider the initial sound. Time for letter T belong to lingua velar plosive. It means tongue. What do we mean by velar? It refers to the velum or the palate. The sound in kin and in crab, that is lingua alveolar plosive. So when we say our tongue and our alveolar ridge activate. Our answer to number 47, letter A. Which is the best way to write the underlined portion of the sentence? This is number 48 now. The host also benefits for running such business because they can stay at home, make money, and meeting a variety of people. What rule is violated in the sentence? The sentence violates the rule in parallelism. So, the underlined word should be changed to meet, to make it parallel with stay and make. So, correct answer to number 48 is letter D. Number 49 is depression, is blank is failure in the exam. Immediately, we're going to eliminate due and because. They cannot be used in the sentence. They do not give sense to the sentence. The fight here is between due to and because of. Look at this. See the test. Due to is used to present the reason for a noun. So it is followed by a predicate nominative. Now, in the sentence, depression is the noun given reason by due to. If we're going to insert due to there, due to is followed by a predicate nominative or introduces a predicate nominative. So therefore, choosing due to is very wise. Our answer there should be alpha. Another test is the use of caused by. Due to can be replaced by caused by in the sentence. Now, let's read the sentence using caused by. His depression is caused by his failure in the exam. So therefore, the answer to that is really option A, due to. Last number. The famous Rizal monument in Luneta was not the work of a Filipino but a Swiss sculptor. What was the sculptor's name? So if you remember history, you remember that the Rizal monument in Luneta was not sculpted by a Filipino. It was actually sculpted by a Swiss sculptor. What's the name? So our answer is option C, Richard Kisling. That's the end, of course, of set 2.